Heat is on.
We found measurable warming, like 5 football fields downwind of the data centers.
An ASU researchers claims and the cost to nearby homeowners.
When we're talking about 1 or 2 degrees Fahrenheit, you'd expect a several percent increase in your utility bill.
A recent report out of ASU is getting national attention. It claims to show that data centers are emanating heat into surrounding neighborhoods, and it's significant enough that it's adding heat to our already hot city streets. It may even impact our power bills. For the backstory, Joe Dana is here with a special report you can only find right now on our YouTube channel. And Joe, what'd you find out?
Yeah, we want to give an audience a head up. It'll actually be on, I believe, at 7:30 tonight. You'll be able to check that out. It'll also be streamed. So we drilled this down with our expert. Just how much is 1 or 2 degrees a difference? Could it cause the home's AC to work harder? He says yes, and it can raise your power bills. Take a listen.
How significant is this?
The heat emissions from the data center are relatively uniform over the course of the day. It operates 24/7. And so that heat is coming off the rooftop air conditioning equipment constantly. It can raise the air temperature in the neighborhood by 1 or 2 degrees Fahrenheit.
How does this heat impact electricity bills? Does it make a difference?
It certainly does. Typically, when we're talking about 1 or 2 degrees Fahrenheit elevation in air temperature, you'd expect a several percent increase in your utility bill. And so for an individual home, that may not be, it might be on the order of tens of dollars.
Wait, tens of dollars per month? Or
Yeah.
for the whole season?
Per month for the season.
Okay, so you could actually see a difference of many dollars.
Right. And
In your bill, in your monthly bill.
Yeah.
All right, so not only could it possibly deplete our water supply, but now we're talking about adding to our already off-the-charts AC bill. So what does it mean for neighborhoods that are already next to data centers or other areas like Ahwatukee or Surprise where data centers are being built?
Proximity is huge, right? But also, what they have found is certain barriers or parks or waterways, they dramatically blunt the heat effect, right? So there may be vegetation or something that could also help. It really depends on the specific location. And what David Saylor with ASU says is, some data centers have already taken steps to mitigate what they call anthropogenetic heat. So he found that parks and waterways are in some of these areas. So that helps, as we mentioned. But a takeaway for future planning is that city leaders will want to take all of this into consideration. Rules right now are like 400 to 500 feet is what you need between the data center and the closest homes. But when he's saying 5 blocks or 5 football fields, that's a lot further away, right? So developers here are getting involved. Utilities are having conversations with ASU as well. It's handling what they call heat waste. And this could be a phrase that becomes more common in the future, heat waste, especially when we talk about more data centers coming into our neighborhoods and communities. And there are unresolved questions here, though, in terms of what is the best technology to help prevent this heat or actually push it up into the air instead of allowing it to spread into neighborhoods. There's also questions about transparency, how much are data centers willing to say about the technology they are using, and what does a future look like with more? Because Saylor says, look, when you talk about the urban heat island effect, this could be a major contributor. You talk about one data center could have the same heat, output as you could have with 200,000 or 300,000 homes. And so the science says it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't disappear.
All right, so they're sucking in power, and our homes are sucking in more power to try to stay cool and fight these few degrees that they can change things.
Terrible feedback loop, right? But again, from what we understand, some companies have taken some action. We're sort of at the beginning of this. ASU is continuing their research. They're looking more specifically at exactly, what that interaction is between the AC in a home and the ambient temperature going up 1 or 2 degrees. So they're going to continue exploring. You can find this full interview tonight. This is 7:30 on our 12 News streaming app and our 12 News YouTube channel. Go to the Power and Influence playlist. You can see this interview, other coverage that we have about energy, environment, and our data center future.
Would be very interesting to see if they could find a way to maybe repurpose this heat runoff or heat output that these data centers put out and use it for something beneficial.
I like your thinking there.
See?
Yes.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
We got to give you the phone number.
Joe,
All right,
Thanks.
thanks.